but we'll record it anyway. So yeah, I mean, look, here's a really good example. So I had to step down. So, you know, you're looking at 1 hour. Let's say we're just using RSI. And there's just not enough RSI there, right? We need more information. So you'll have to step down to a 5 minute. Now this token, 21st of November, how long is this? Okay, so this is almost 24 hours old. It needs a few more hours, but you know, if this thing was to have just started, like if you were just looking at this much price action right there, you know, even the 5 minute chart wouldn't have enough information, so you'd have to go down to the minute. And it just chops around a lot when you go down that low. I mean, the 5 minutes probably the lowest I'd go. So you just got to let it run and do its thing, or you know, just hope that it moves up if you're going to play one that early. But you can see, I mean, yeah, temporarily it lost this was kind of a warning sign. So it kind of chopped around here, very bullish temporarily, and then just, you know, bullish in general here. And then it gave you a little warning signal. It said, okay, I'm under 50, and you would have been looking at this. So this wouldn't look good at the time, but if you would have waited a little bit, it would have got back above. So here was your warning, and then it ended up breaking down. You know, right here it broke down. This was your real signal for sure, because you completely rejected at the 50 after breaking below it. And that's something, so let me just draw it here. So that's the midline, or there's the lines for RSI. You break above 50, you retest 50, you get above 70, come down, you get a little warning, comes back up, rejects 70, which is another, I mean, that's like a bearish divergence. And then it gets back below 50, and then it rejects the 50. So the 50 line is the most important one. You know, when you're talking about, is it bullish, is it bearish? So I hope that makes sense. You know, Bitcoin, I can actually show another example where Bitcoin did this exactly in 2021. And yeah, I mean, there's a couple different ways to do it too. Like I was talking about, there's a couple different ways that you could take profit. So let's say if you did get above the 70, which is up here, and then it fell below it, you know, you could have taken profit there. So you let it get above, but then when it crossed back down, you took some profit. You know, you didn't have to take it all out. This is where you would be out completely on that 50 cross down. I mean, this is, you know, I'm looking at hindsight, 2020, you know, it's very easy to explain this with history on my side and looking back at it, but you can use this in real time once you get used to it. Do I know David? I know a David. I don't know the token David. You'd have to give me a contract address. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Just kind of like basic rules to use for it. While I'm waiting for that contract address, I'll answer that other question here in a second. Let me just show one more thing with Bitcoin. So we'll just use a weekly chart to really illustrate this clearly. I mean, let's just take this for example. I mean, you could even go back to here and say, okay, you got a 50 cross up, and then you got above the 70 and you crossed below the 70. So there was definitely I mean, this is a very similar example of what we just looked at, right? Cross down on the 70, you take some profits there. But the other thing that you would be watching is look at your momentum. You know, you're getting lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and it finally pushes it below 50 because there's not enough buying pressure, and then it rejects the 50. But for whatever reason, you know, they were faking people out at the time, so it crossed back above 50, and then, you know, you got completely wiped out. I mean, there's no way. I guess if you were down on a daily chart, you could have saw that possibly, but yeah, I mean, you could have gotten out right there maybe, or here. It's possible. I just like using the weekly because it's easier to see. But notice how, like if we go back to the daily, notice how well Engineer Robo played this. Where's it at? Oh wow, I'm zoomed way out. So we're talking about the March 2020 dip, right? You got a lot of momentum coming out of this. I mean, I guess you could call that the warning. I don't know. It's harder to see on a daily chart than it is on the weekly, but you cross back above 50, you got below, and then you rejected the 50. So, here's your strategy for buying at the 30 and selling at the 70. Did it work here? It kind of worked there. There wasn't much of a profit to be had, but buying at the 30 RSI and then selling at the 70 is also a strategy to use. You could have made money there. Where was that again? Was it this one? Yeah, okay. All right, let's do questions. Yeah, I mean, Sassy, what is it? Sassy Might. If you have a contract address for David, I don't mind looking at it. Real Ragos, for example, on NAS, we're about to curl up. The RSI is still bearish, but this would be what you would be looking for, right? Yeah, let me look. I think I've got it up somewhere. Oh yeah, I already had it here, okay. So this is the deck screener chart, same one. Yeah, I mean, you could, let me bring the RSI up. It's possible, you could also, price action's everything. So really you don't even need RSI, but it helps. You'd want to find, where your support was, and it's pretty close to that support. So the reason why that's support right there is because, where's my thing? Is because this area was the kind of like the consolidation, and then it broke out of it. So once this happens, this old resistance right here becomes support, and you can see how that wick right there barely touched it. So it's a clear area of support right here. It even supported back here before it fell back through it. So if you were going to play this one, it's okay to buy here. I mean, you're pretty close to support, or what I would call the bullish line in this case. I mean, support's really down here if you want to talk about the historical support. It's somewhere down there. So that's how I label these. I say bullish above on that one because it got above the resistance. So if you were to buy here, the importance of buying near a support line is that you can get out easily and not lose much money. Whereas if you were to, say it did something like, well, anyway, just say it did a small move and you jumped in because it looked like it was pumping. Now you've bought here and then it falls below and then you decide to get out. Well, in that case, now you're down 50% versus if you were to buy it here and you got out, maybe a 30% dip or something. But it depends on the narrative. I mean, if you feel it's a strong narrative, then just go ahead and buy it and hold it. And, if you're wrong, you're wrong. But you don't want to play all the ups and downs of it and be worried about what the price action's doing. You want to give it some room to breathe. Okay, let me see. Make sure there's... Okay. Let's see, Darkest Jaguar, do you use horizontal lines rather than angled lines? I mean, you can use both. Like, let's get rid of these. I mean, this is a very easy thing for anybody to do, is to just take a line, and as this thing progresses, okay, so what you have to do, let me get the volume off of there. So what you have to do is, we call this a hill or a reverse hill, like a hill, like a mountain, or a reverse one like that. And what I mean by that is there's at least 4 candles that are higher up, they're higher up on the chart than this point, and there's 4 over here higher up than that point. So that means that this is okay to use as a trend line connection. And you have to decide if you want to use wicks or if you want to use candlesticks. It really doesn't matter. They're pretty similar. But what I really like to do, sometimes anyway, I wouldn't do it in this case. Well, maybe I would. Yeah, I mean, usually, like if you're just doing candlestick bodies here, usually I would just connect maybe the corner of that. But what I try to do is, if I notice that there's some wicks here that kind of connect with it as well, I might push it up a little bit more and catch those wicks. So anyway, something like that. And the point of this is that, let's see, we're on the 5 minute. Might even want to look at the 1 minute on this. Yeah, this is better. So the point of this is that, let's say Yeah, you would have had to cut through the. I mean, always do this on a higher time frame. By the way, it's okay if it cuts through this area because this was a wick on a higher time frame. Really want to connect the most points that you can. And we know this is pretty close to being accurate because if we were to extend this, and it is good to go down to a lower time frame and adjust this after you do it on a higher time frame. But notice how this rejected. I mean, it didn't quite touch it, but notice how that rejected. You could even grab this wick right there. And yeah, so that's perfect right there. For whatever reason, it doesn't really match. Well, that kind of matches. Okay, anyway, when price is progressing, I don't have a replay feature on this like I do on TradingView, but let's say price is progressing here. So you're just staying in, right? I mean, once you get this point right here, you're just going to keep staying in, staying in, staying in. And then once it finally breaks down where you have, maybe one or two candlesticks that have completely closed below it, then it's time to cut, cut and run. Basically, you want to take your profits out. So that's one way to use it in real time. And then the flip side, if you're looking for a place to enter, I mean, this isn't a great example, actually. I'd have to look for a better example, and I'm not going to do this line perfect. I'm just going to do it like this. Sometimes you'll get something like this where, whether it's a dead cat bounce or whatever, it'll pop back up here to where this old resistance or the new resistance is up here. So it'll have a move off the bottom up to there, and you can make a little bit of a profit. But a lot of times it just bases and goes sideways first because nobody's interested in it. So hopefully that makes sense. But you're just with this, you're just doing the opposite. You're grabbing the top of the hills. I mean, if I was to do it perfect, and this one just has so many wicks to it. I guess you could grab that one right there, yeah. You could just take it down to this one. Usually you want to find the closest one. And I guess you could call it even this, because it connects to that one first on the candle body. Yeah, I guess that's more accurate there. So look how, rejection, falls down, comes back up, perfect retest. Sometimes that'll take off right there, but it didn't in this case. So, usually you're going to have some kind of connection on the other side like this. So you connected all of these, but then the breakout retest is usually going to look correct on the other end of it, kind of like this, the breakdown rejection right here. So hopefully that makes sense. Just let me know if it doesn't. I'm trying to think of what else to tell y'all. I mean, this is all stuff that takes, honestly, years to, well, I guess if you had somebody teaching you how to do it, you could probably speed it up a lot, but if you're looking for it on your own, it takes years to learn. I'm trying to think of what else. I guess we could talk about briefly how you can make money even when we're not doing calls. I know it's a lot harder, but let's just say you're looking at the top DGen wallet. I mean, this is pretty interesting that one of our wallets are, it seems like they're accumulating. Let's see, this 345. So within the last 10 minutes, they've accumulated 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 14,000 worth of Nolan. So we can look at Nolan, but remember, if it doesn't have the little, what do they call that thing? The seedling emoji. That means that it's not a new token. So what you'll be looking at is a token that's already established. Could be 30 days old, I'm not sure. But this is the first step you would take, is you go over to Smart Money, and this looks pretty good. Seems like multiple Smart Money wallets since the 21st of November are buying. And looks like ours is way down here. This is a guide that seems like they follow the narrative pretty closely, so they're a good one to follow. And you can get any of these wallets. I mean, I'm not shy about you getting the wallet addresses on these. It's easy for you to do it. Just click the nerd emoji area here, and you can have any of these wallet addresses that you want. So let's see. I mean, you can click into this too if you have Nansen and look at wallet profiler for token and see exactly where they bought. You may have to go down 24 hours, but they're actually down right now. They're at a loss well, maybe their cost basis actually shows 14% gain. I don't know why. Maybe this is showing incorrectly. But if we take this a step further, we grab this, we copy the contract address, and we go over here and paste it into GMGN. And you can use Dex Screener too, it doesn't matter. Let's see, he bought about right, no, where did he buy? 350, so 15. Okay, so he bought on this wick right here. He must think that it has a chance to go back up. But let's talk about RSI in real time. And I'm gonna throw MACD in here as well here in a minute. In this case right now, let's say you don't own any of this. It's really simple for you. You just wait and see if it'll get back above 50 RSI. I know everybody wants to get in as cheap as you can. I mean, I get that. But you save yourself a lot of money if you just stay patient with it. But let's just say there's a support line somewhere in here. Start drawing your support lines. If you see a lot of, you don't have to be perfect with this, by the way. You're seeing this is basically like a left shoulder, and you're just kind of drawing a line somewhere in here, which with most of these, if you're using a PC, with most of these exchanges or, with TradingView, you just hit Alt-H, and it'll put you a horizontal line there. So it could be turning up. I mean, I will say this about this one, it hit 30 million. You'd have to be pretty sure that this was a good narrative, because the whole thing with buying high market cap, the problem I have with that on especially memes is I don't think a lot of them have enough power to get up to 100 million, 500 million, that sort of thing. Chill Guy was a very fortunate situation. Rod got us in that one. I don't think many of us held it for very long. We probably took profits pretty quick, but nobody would have thought that one had the power to get up to 300 million. So very few of them actually do that. But one thing that you can take to the bank is that these smart money wallets are pretty good. I mean, they're like the top 1%. I'd put a lot of work in to find them, and I'm still trying to find more, but it's hard. So out of all the wallets that I've looked at for the last couple of weeks, I've only found 6 that really meet the criteria. And what I look for, just so you know, let me just click on this wallet. And if I go to his P&L, I mean, number one, it's really impressive that he has a million, over the last 90 days, 1 million profit realized. So look how he just has a wall of green. Even before I start scrolling down here, his realized profits, like it's just a wall. It's crazy. He doesn't have any losses hardly. I could go a little bit further and find some, but he's only got a couple losses here. But the thing I really like about it is he's got multiple, like a 10x, 43x, 51x. He's got a lot of that are over a 5x realized. And then if you go to his unrealized, he's got a wall of green there too. So this is exactly what I look for, and I'm only looking at the last 7 days. So if somebody can be this profitable within a 7-day period, I don't know how he does win rate. That's crazy that he has 99% win rate. But anyway, these are the kind of things that I want to make sure I'm doing for y'all. We need the very best, and it will filter out for the very best plays, because these guys don't like to lose, right? Okay, Darkest DJ saying, I've bought Nansen. Can you please show how to add the smart money wallets? Yeah, and how to filter only those and not Nansen smart money. Let's see. Show how to add the smart. Yeah, I mean, showing you how to add them is easy. You just go to manage labels, and let's say if I reset this, here's what it would look like normally. So you just type in here whatever you want. So it follows narratives. If you want to put a label on it, that'll help you remember what they're good at or whatever. And then just hit add wallet to watch list. And now it's going to be saved right here to your watch list. And you can see I don't have many. I've got 2 pages. And then your other question, how to filter only those and not Nansen smart money. Oh, okay. Well, wait. How to filter only those. I guess you'll have to explain that. How to filter. Well, maybe you're talking about in Discord, how I filter that. I mean, I can show you my smart alert if that's what you're talking about. Where is it at? Best DGen wallet right here. So this is what it looks like if it'll load. All right. So they have a feature where you can add custom label. Let me go back to watch list real quick. So on my watch list here that we use in the group, I've got the ones that are the best ones for DGen, and some of them say something like mid hold. You know, they tend to hold a little bit longer, and we've got a couple of those, which is good. But all the ones that are at least labeled DGen, you know, I set up the custom label and put the DGen custom label thing in there. Have to have a minimum value of $100 in the trade, and it filters out recently deployed low quality or spam tokens. And then that's what you're seeing in this channel right here, top DGen wallets. That's this smart alert here. Does that answer what you were saying? I wasn't sure that I really understood what you were asking, but that might be it. Okay. Yeah, just let me know on that. So let's see, I showed y'all that. That's that step. So you're looking at smart money, you're looking at the chart. We'll talk about the chart a little bit more here. Yeah, I mean, look, it popped above 50 RSI here, so it would be okay to take a position right there, but I'd probably start out small. You know, just take a starter position, because we've got a lot of resistance up here, right? And you could put a resistance line here if you wanted, just to kind of give you a visual. And you want to connect as many of these either candle bodies or wicks. I mean, I guess you could use the wicks here if you wanted to, but I kind of like using the candle bodies along with the wicks. So something like that, that's your resistance line. So, you know, it's probably more likely that this just consolidates for a little while, since it had a big move. What did it do? 2.4 million. Yeah, usually there's a rejection at 1 million. I mean, that one kind of pushed through it, didn't it? It could get going here, and it's really hard to tell. You could go down to 1 minute, but yeah, I mean, you got to break out and retest of the 50 there. And you could also put a line on this if you wanted to, something like that. But, you know, you're getting way down into, you know, this is scalping territory. Like if you were playing a token, you know, just a regular altcoin, and you were down on a minute chart, people would call you crazy. But here we are using, you know, minute and 5 minute chart on the riskiest asset in crypto. Yeah. Oh yeah, I am recording it, so you can look back if you need to. But what you're looking for here, by the way, is you're looking for a full 5 minute candle above this line, and you can see why. Because the last candlesticks, and you know, they pretty much stopped right there. This was a very big rejection point when you had a bullish candle, and then immediately these two candles completely engulfed this one, and you know, just fell down. But somebody was right there waiting to buy it. Hopefully GNX recovers. We talked about NAS. Trying to think of what else I can show you. Oh yeah, let me answer this, just so I understand. This is Real Ragos asking, just so I understood. Here is a random coin. Okay, let me bring that one up. And he says, what would I do? First, I would check if the coin qualifies dev in or out. Smart money invested, still holding, chart looks okay. And then I would check if I would want to add based on trend lines, support, and RSI. Yeah, I mean, there's actually even another step than that if you want to. You can look at the socials. So it's up to you if you want to do that. I don't always look at socials, but, you know, sometimes. Oh, did I? I already talked about GNX. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't see any patterns here. I was going to show you a pattern maybe. I mean, there is kind of a triangle. Kind of a triangle here, and if you ever get a triangle pattern, it's very powerful to the upside, but as you can see, it's also powerful at the downside. I've got a thing in education here. Where's it at? Yeah, so these are your most powerful, if you get a breakout anyway, these are your most powerful patterns that you want to watch for. We like playing the triangle especially, but you know, the sideways consolidation is really nice. Falling wedge is nice. Falling wedge tends to take longer to recover, but this one and this one are real powerful. They take off right away. So if you get a candle closing under a triangle like this, then just get out. It's not even worth it. Sometimes you get a fake out down, and then it pops back up. That's exactly what Catalorian did. But let's see, where's Catalorian? Yeah, right here. This one's a lot more choppy, so it's hard to see. But you know, downtrend resistance. I could put a triangle here, but I took it off. I think it was, yeah, it was like that. See, it faked out down, and then it came up. It retested and took off. And we were prepared for this. I actually said if it falls down, you know, watch, because it could be a fake out. But it held the support there, right? So that's what was important. But just getting back to GNX here. Where's the other one? Okay. So the questions. Yeah, dev in, out. That's a really good point. So we usually want to see the dev out, right? Because if the dev's not out, then there's a higher chance of getting dumped on. Cyrus is a token that we played that had a really good day yesterday, that is kind of the exception to the rule, where the dev is actually working on a real product or a project, and he's constantly posting on Twitter, and it doesn't seem like he wants to sell. You know, he actually wants to make a nice you know, first to market project out of it. And that's what you really look for, is who's first to market on something unique. Let's see, smart money invested still holding. Yeah, you need smart money invested if possible. Chart looks good. Yep. And then I would check if you want to add based on trend line, support and RSI. Yeah, I mean, I realize that it's going to be tough if you don't have confidence in charting, if you're still working on it and stuff like that. I want everybody to be able to learn it though, because, you know, I can't, it gets very stressful. Well, not stressful. It's a lot of work on me to continually, you know, have to chart everything. I mean, I enjoy doing it, so it's really not a problem. And I don't want y'all to think it is a problem, but the thing that I want to see is, you know, people to learn. And then once more people learn, then you've just got a group of people that know exactly what they're doing. And then you just get higher and higher quality trades, right? Because you're filtering out all the noise. And that's really, I guess my point is to improve our group think in a way. You know, we're all looking at different trades, but we're filtering out the ones that really don't matter. So in this case on GNX, we would wait for a bullish momentum to come back and stay, yeah, definitely. And it could be curling up. Let me just show you MACD real quick, because it's another really good tool. I don't use it much, but Rod reminds me to use it sometimes, that, you know, he'll talk about himself using it. I just forget to use it. So this cross right here was a good place to get in. You know, your fast moving line crossing over your slow moving line, or right here where this, well, I guess that's where the cross happened, yeah. So sometimes with MACD, you can find like a bullish divergence or a bearish divergence before you can see it on RSI. Let's see, we're on a 5 minute. If we go down to 1 minute, let's see what we see. Yeah, I mean, it is bullish on the 1 minute. And if you ever see something like this, by the way, where it gets under 30 RSI, don't buy it yet. Just let it stay down here, and then when it crosses back up, that's where you want to buy it. I mean, if it just bounces off of it, then that's fine to buy it, but you know, just let this thing play out and then get above it. But here on MACD, I guess that's what I was talking about right there. This kind of looks like a bullish divergence here, where, you know, the hills are getting smaller. It means momentum's coming back into it while price is going down, and then all of a sudden you get a bottom. I mean, you could have bought somewhere in here and still been okay, but we don't know. I think this one will go eventually again, but we don't know how long this consolidation sideways is going to last. It could be, you know, a couple of days, 3 days, who knows. Hopefully whoever's running the project. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to mention just really quickly. There's things called a bundler. I mean, I've created some tokens before, me and Rod and Tatiana. So there's a thing called a bundler that the dev can hide who is buying the tokens. So the dev might have a tiny portion and then they sell. And then these bundlers, they can create a bunch of different wallets. They can send SOL to the wallets and then buy up a bunch of the, a bunch of the supply. But you won't know that they're, sometimes it doesn't show up as an insider wallet. So then they'll dump on you that way too. So there's kind of no hiding from it. You could still get burned sometimes, even though it looks like the dev sold. Okay, when alerts, okay, DJ says, when alerts pop up, is there a minimum amount of smart money that has to be in the coin? No, I mean, if it's one of our wallets, then if he's the only person in, then I'm in. Well, I'm not really in. I have to see the chart first, but I do have a lot more confidence in our wallets than any other wallet on Nansen. And maybe I haven't found all the good ones yet, but those are the best ones I've found so far. But if it's, let's say it's on, let's say we're only looking at Sol Microcap memes channel. This one is just in general, this is smart money buying, but it may or may not be our wallets buying as well. And N2, this is actually a good sign. We talked about this earlier. If you start seeing these pop up multiple times in here, then you probably want to pay more attention to it, because that's additional conviction that smart money continues to buy every hour. And if we were to click over, we can actually see it, well, maybe not happening in real time, but we can see it right here. So in the last 24 hours, it's probably this person right here. And this one did take off, didn't it? Was this one we were looking at? I think it was one you were looking at, DJ. Is it this one? Oh wait, I gotta put it on the chart. I just want to see what it's doing now. Yeah, I think you were looking at it way down here, weren't you? Something like that. Oh, that's right. We were waiting on this to break. Okay, so technically this is a good place to buy. I mean, you're above the bullish line now. Or above, well, yeah, above the bullish line, above the resistance. So this is a pretty good buy. Let me just see what 5-minute chart shows. Yeah, I mean, you're still above 50 RSI. You don't usually want to see volume descending. You want to see it moving up. So maybe this is starting a new trend where volume will continue and momentum will continue, but we don't know just yet. It's higher than these, so you're above 50 RSI, you're above the line. It did get a rejection right there. So, I guess you could wait. You could wait for a 5-minute candle to close just to make sure. But that's the way I would play that one. It is getting some more eyes though, for sure. I mean, you can open up this guy's wallet. He's the one that holds the most out of all smart money, and just see where he bought it. Oh, he just bought it all in one go. Sometimes it's a little bit slow. Well, it's funny. I had to get them to upgrade me on their servers. Oh, here we go. I had to get them to upgrade me on their servers because I was using up too much bandwidth. Sometimes I'll just open like a ton of, you can't see my tabs up here, but I'll open like 20 different tabs. Yeah, so this one, they bought it at a really good price. And that's another thing you need to think about, by the way. Other people bought way before you. So, if you're thinking in terms of where they bought and how much X gain they have, if it starts hitting 5X, 10X from the bottom, then you got to imagine they're going to start taking profits usually. Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty good to me. I'd say this little wick right here is the last one it needs to get past, but it looks pretty strong to me right now. Yeah, see how volume seems to be picking up, maybe? It needs to continue here. Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, and another thing I want to mention just while I'm thinking about this, I mean, here we are looking at a chart that could be breaking out, and you see me not worried about buying it, right? I mean, there's so many opportunities out there with soul memes. Don't feel like you have to buy every one. I mean, there's always, and if you have any bad feeling about a token, even though it's pumping, and you're just like, man, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to me or whatever, just skip it and go to the next one. It's fine. Okay, would you have a recommendation how to learn charting? Currently working through it. Okay, let's look at what you got. So this is crypto cred training education. I mean, I'll probably have to go through this, but I mean, just looking at how organized he is here, I would imagine it's going to be a really good course. How to use candlestick. Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty good. Horizontal support resistance. I would say, I mean, I don't know if this guy does this or not, but you want to pair what you're trying to learn with the type of tokens that you like to trade. So if he's not a meme trader, then it may not match. But you know, most of this stuff works across all levels, so it may not matter. I mean, you need a solid foundation first, and really the most solid foundation when it comes to trading is just simple market structure. So higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows. Those are all that really matter. You know, pure market structure is the basis of everything else. You know, support resistance comes in right after that, because you know you got lines here that connect within those areas. You know, breakout, retest, breakdown. I'd have to adjust these, but anyway, breakdown and rejection. I don't know, I didn't draw those perfectly, but you get the idea there. So yeah, that's why they say price is king, is because if you're basing here with a lot of support and it's just consolidating whatever token it is, and then it finally breaks out of this consolidation and does this, and even if it dips down temporarily but then regains it, then this resistance becomes support, and that's basically all that is. And so as this progresses, you're just on an uptrend anyway. You're creating higher lows and higher highs, and then that's where drawing this line comes in. And then you just play it. You know, you keep holding your trade. Sometimes it might fake out on you, but you keep holding your trade until you get a clear confirmation that it has broken down, maybe a couple different candlesticks, and then that's where you exit your trade. And then you just flip it on its head for the other thing. You know, if price is coming down and you're waiting for an entry, or maybe you're in a short trade, either way. But if price was coming down in a spot trade and you're waiting for an entry, you just wait until it gives you confirmation the other way. I mean, this right here does not look good on GNX. This is a really good example that happened in real time. So here was your support. You know, this is your current support. If this rejects here, then this token's probably done. I mean, it was pretty clear that it was done here, but I was driving. I had some things to go do, so it was really clear that it actually died right here. I'm hoping it still recovers, but we'll see. Okay, DJ says also into looks to be breaking out of resistance. Oh yeah, we just talked about that, didn't we? Currently 65-hour SI, you mentioned. Oh, well, yeah, the 3070 strat is probably something you want to use on a higher time frame. I don't know if you want to use it. Where am I at on it? No, it's not that one. Let me just close some of this stuff, get it out of the way. Yeah, here's your 30 right here. So if you're going to use the 30-70 rule, then here's where you should have been buying. You could have bought here, which you would have been a little bit early, or you know, here would have been a perfect buy. Remember, if it gets below it, you wait till it gets back above it, and then that's where you buy. And you could also call this a double bottom on the RSI. You know, it works just like a chart, just like the candlesticks. And then, yeah, I mean, you could have taken profits there, but I don't know. You would have had to buy back right there. So that's why it really doesn't work on a lower time frame chart. I was just giving you those strategies to use in general. I would say in a case like this with I think the better thing to do on memes is this. I mean, you could still use the 30 rule for buying, but where you'd want to sell is when it broke down to 50. So let's say it jumps back up here, price keeps moving, comes down here, might give you a quick warning, and then it finally breaks down or something right there. So, you know, somewhere in there is where you get out on that rejection. But yeah, I mean, anywhere up here at 70, you could be taking profits. It's just that there's a chance you might be taking profits too early. So on a low time frame, you need to give it more room to breathe as well on your you know, the price appreciation. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, I don't really want to make this too long. Let's see how long we've been going. Yeah, we've been going 40 minutes. Let's go ahead and shut it down, and we'll do another one of these in the future. I mean, think of questions, put this into practice, just get used to doing it. And what you're going to find is that these little things that we mentioned, you might remember them as you look at your own charts, but for the most part, you're going to start developing your own strategy just based on back testing or playing a token in real time. You'll start to just, you know, things will fall into place eventually. You just have to spend a lot of time in the charts until you get to that point. So, you know, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I can't remember if it was Einstein or who it was, but, you know, making mistakes is the path to success, basically. I don't exactly know what he said. I probably butchered it, but you have to be okay with failing and be okay with taking some losses on these tokens, but you're going to get some big wins too if you follow our smart money and our calls. You know, our calls are good, but we're going to lose too. You know, it's just going to happen. These are risky plays. But, you know, y'all are doing a good job too in chat. You know, some of you call pretty good plays. Commander calls plays. So, you know, who knows, if you keep working hard at it, this may be your day job one day. You know, you don't need our group anymore. You know, you're just doing it yourself. And I could do this myself and not have a group, but I guess I just enjoy teaching and, you know, just being able to help people. And I'm not saying that to, you know, make myself look good. I just mean it kind of what drives me. So yeah, I mean, we'll continue to make money. I want to see people be profitable. And just to kind of close with it, you know, looking at this N2 token that you were looking at, DJ, you can see that it looks like it could be rejecting, and that's probably why you might want to wait on a full candle above. You definitely don't want to see a bunch of wicks up here like this. So if you're not in, maybe give it a little bit more time to really give you a good confirmation where it's maybe fuller body candlesticks up here. And just remember, it's tougher. The lower time frame you go, it's a lot tougher to do this in real time. Okay. Well, y'all have a good weekend. Thank you for stepping in here to give some questions and to learn. You know, the willingness to learn is how you're going to be successful at this. So we'll just keep plugging away at it. And yeah, think of any other questions and we'll try to get to them next week. I'm going to try to start relaxing, you know, winding down for the weekend here. But if you have any questions, I'll try to get to them later. All right, take care.